Hi, welcome to this look at the Christmas 2022 weather prospects. In recent days it has been very cold right across the UK, snow in places, but a big change is on the way. It will be turning a lot milder through the weekend and into the early part of next week, particularly in the southern half of the UK. So the question is, will the cold conditions be returning for the big day itself or not? At the time of filming, there are still 9 sleeps to go. A long time in terms of the UK's weather. It could change and change again. And before I jump into the forecast itself, here is the definition of a white Christmas. I've mentioned it several times, but it's important to realise the UK Met Office considers one to be a single flake of snow falling at the observed location within the 24 hours of December the 25th. Nothing there at all about accumulations. Right, with all that said, I'm going to jump into the computer model data and start with the deterministics. These are the ones that give a single solution for the given time, a snapshot. First up, the GFS. This is run in the United States. And the latest update at the time of filming shows high pressure to the west of the UK, cold Arctic air indicated by the blue shading, moving right down across all areas. And what that would mean in terms of the weather, well, the temperatures here on the left, 2s, 3s or 4s in southern and central regions. On the right, precipitation, snow showers in northern Scotland, possibly Northern Ireland. Also some rain, sleet and snow pushing into the far southwest and the far south of England. A white Christmas in places if it's correct. Next up, the European model, considered the best of them all. And what it shows is something quite different in terms of the details. The big picture's not hugely different, but across the UK it is, because we've got the very cold Arctic air covering northern areas, but this area of low pressure with mild air to its east being pumped up from the southwest is going to be keeping temperatures significantly higher. That can be seen here, double figures in southern England, below freezing point in much of Scotland. On the right though is the interesting chart because it's showing precipitation. It's not rain or snow, it's just a generic precipitation chart. There is some in northern England and central and southern parts with that cold, mild boundary straddling the UK. I think there would be a good chance of snow in northern England if this is correct. Rain to the south though, but white Christmas for parts of northern England, very possible. Next is the Canadian global model. Once more, blue shading covering the UK. Low pressure there a bit further south, high pressure to the northwest, the Arctic flow moving down across the country. Very cold indeed, according to this particular run. An ice day right across the UK, or most of it, so temperatures remaining at or below freezing point. Very dry though in most areas, just some snow showers in northern and western Scotland, perhaps Northern Ireland, and maybe 1 or 2 just flirting with East Anglia and the far southeast. A crisp and cold day though, if it's correct. It's all looking quite good if you're hoping for a white Christmas, particularly if you live in the northern half and you trust these deterministic model runs. As I said though, it's still a long time away, and therefore, rather than relying on the deterministics, it's important to look at the ensemble data. These are the computer models which get run many times with the starting conditions altered slightly to help account for uncertainty. So what they show is a range of possible solutions at the given time, and the idea is to find the most frequently shown solutions, the biggest cluster being the most likely scenario. I'll start with the GEFS plot for London. Air mass temperatures on the top half, so these are at approximately 1,500 metres above sea level. The thick black line, they're the 30-year norm. The thick purple line is the average of all runs in the ensemble. It's very close to it. It doesn't look cold if this is correct. Very different to the deterministic run. Some of the individual lines there, the individual runs are above the 30-year average, some below it, but there isn't a strong signal for cold conditions. What is the chance of snow? How many runs are going for snow? That's indicated by the snow row. There are 33 possible runs on this chart. I'll not go into them. That's the maximum value the snow row can take. And on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, it's at 2 or 3. A very low chance of snow falling. Looking at the pressure plot from the GEFS for London, here's Christmas, and it's a big spread. Some runs going for low pressure, some for high pressure. It's just really showing it's a volatile picture at the moment. Things haven't settled out. There is that uncertainty. The European ensemble, if anything, is a little bit milder, in fact, significantly milder than the GEFS. The mean there, the thick purple line, is above the 30-year average. Not really many runs here at all going for cold conditions. So it looks less hopeful, according to the ensemble data, if you're in the south, and the deterministic models were perhaps pointing towards. Going up to Glasgow, back to the GEFS data, this time there is something more hopeful for the cold weather fans or the snow hopers. The ensemble mean, the thick purple line, is well below the thick black line. And the snow row values are a lot higher, 10 or 11 through Christmas Eve, Christmas Day and Boxing Day. A moderate chance of snow falling according to that plot. But looking at the pressure ensemble chart, and there is still a big spread even in the north, a wide range of possible outcomes. It's very uncertain still. The European ECM ensemble data for Glasgow really reinforces the GFS message. The thick purple line below the 30-year average. Many of the individual runs going for a rather cold or cold scenario. A distinctly well-supported message for the further north you head, the greater the chance of it being cold. Now, these plots are postage stamp charts generated from the UK Met Office, Mogreps G ensemble. At the time of filming, these reach as far forwards as Christmas Eve, but they are still useful to see how things are shaping up. The plot on the left shows pressure patterns. Each frame on it represents the output from one of the individual runs within the ensemble. On the right, it's air mass temperatures at about 1,500 meters above sea level. Blue shading indicates where the cold air is. To summarise these, what they show is a greater chance of it being cold in the north, and it looks as though that cold air may be struggling to reach southern counties. So snow more likely in the north. Moving on to the GEFS postage stamp plot showing forecast maximum temperatures on Christmas Day. Very similar principle. Each frame represents the output from one of the individual ensemble runs, and you can maybe freeze the video and count up the number of frames showing cold or mild temperatures. The summary value is that approximately 55 to 70% are indicating cold conditions in the northern half of the UK. In the south, it's about 20 to 40%. The cold conditions become progressively more likely the further northwards you head. There isn't a cut-off somewhere across the UK. It really is progressively colder or milder as you head northwards or southwards. The snow forecast postage stamps, once again from the GEFS, Christmas Day at 06 GMT, but had I chosen 12 GMT or 18 GMT, it would have been a very similar profile. Are really saying that there is a moderate chance of snow falling in the north and a low one in the south. White Christmas, more likely in the north and the south. Often the case, of course, unless we've got winds coming in from the east, for example. Anyway, to try and summarise, important to remember that it is still too early to be confident. There is time for change. But at the moment, the computer model data is suggesting a good chance of it being cold in the north, particularly Scotland. In the south, it's more balanced. That cold Arctic air may struggle to reach southern Britain. In terms of snow, well, with cold and mild air masses in close proximity, that does mean there could be some snow around. The chance is a moderate one in the north and low in the south. Anyway, I hope you found this video useful and enjoyed it. I'll probably put out another one sometime next week, maybe 2 or 3 days before the big day itself, just to see how things have firmed up. There is still a chance for white Christmas in the south. It doesn't look likely at the moment. That's my take on what the computer model data is showing. In the north, though, it certainly appears to be game on. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. As ever, if you did, then please remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons below. And if you do that, you'll be notified whenever I publish an update. Thank you for watching now. Bye.